Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to go over the National League East Team Affinity 42 Series cards. There is 5 of them. Dansby Swanson, Sixto Sanchez, Dominic Smith, Andrew McCutchen, and Patrick Corbin. We're going to give all 5 of these cards in-depth true reviews, rate them 1 through 5 chewies, and then at the end of the video, I will let you know which one I personally think is the best out of the 5. Also, once we wrap up all 6 divisions with in-depth true reviews, we're going to give a top 10 of all 30 of these 42 series cards. So be sure to tune into that video a little bit later this week, as well as the other division breakdowns. Let's get into it. Dansby Swanson. The Atlanta Braves shortstop Dansby Swanson has started to develop into the player that the organization thought he would be at 27 years of age. He can also play second base and third base. He's right-handed throwing and right-handed batting. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. Looking at his attributes, he has 76 contact versus righty, 76 contact versus lefty. So that's even no matter whether you're facing a left-handed or right-handed pitcher. Then he has 71 power versus righty, 69 power versus lefty with 85 vision and 88 discipline, 69 clutch. So his hitting's pretty decent. He's kind of just above average for everything. He doesn't have great power. He doesn't have great contact. His vision is very good at 85, though, compared to some of these other 42 series cards. So that's nice. His fielding's where this card's actually probably one of the better shortstops in the 42 series cards. At 85 fielding, 80 arm strength, 88 arm accuracy, 87 reaction, 79 speed, 29 stealing, and 47 base running aggressiveness. So he does have very good fielding. I actually think this is the most well-rounded fielding out of all of the middle infielders that you could possibly get within these 42 series cards. I will say, though, that the Swanson's hitting does hold him back slightly compared to some of the other cards because he doesn't have quite the pop or the contact that all of the cards have necessarily. But you're looking at the fielding, the arm strength, and all that stuff. That is wonderful. I'm going to give this Swanson 3.5 chewies because I really do like the fielding, but I can give up a little bit of fielding for somebody that hits a little bit better like that Bo Bichette we went over in the AL East with a little bit less fielding because it's hitting so much better. Now, Swanson has a average to above average swing, though. I do think 3.5 chewies is a fair rating for this Swanson. Sixto Sanchez. Sanchez is one of the up-and-coming young studs in the Miami Marlins organization as a starting pitcher. I could only imagine what a Jose Fernandez as well as Sixto Sanchez would have been for their organization. I don't know if they would have still had Sanchez as an option because obviously things change based on circumstance about how they pick guys, but this Sanchez has been absolutely phenomenal for a 22-year-old pitcher. He's right-handed throwing. He throws a changeup, a sinker, a four-seam fastball, a slider, and a curveball. I moved myself down there, as you've seen on the screen, just because I want you guys to be able to see the pitch velocities a little bit better compared to whenever I went over the Legend 42 Series players that we do have up on the channel if you want to check that out. I'll actually tag it in the upper right corner. Shameless plug right there. Looking at his pitch velocity, he has 88 miles per hour for his changeup, 95 for the sinker, 98 for the four-seam fastball. So he's going to hit triple digits with that four-seam fastball. 89 sinker, 89 on the slider, and then 84 on the curveball. The biggest thing about him is he does throw everything very hard, so he doesn't have a huge change of pace on his pitches, which to me can be a little bit bothersome, but he is a power pitcher, very overpowering. You're looking at his pitch control, 72 changeup, 68 sinker, 63 for the four-seam fastball. So he's a little bit erratic with his fastball, which hurts him a little bit, as well as that sinker. So there are times where you could possibly throw a pitch trying to throw it on the corners and just throw it center mass, and he might get lit up because of that. However, he is a power pitcher, so some guys might have trouble hitting him because of how hard he does throw. He has the slider and the curveball as well. We'll look at his quirks real quick. He does have outlier 2, which means that his sinker goes above 100. It goes about 101 if I'm not mistaken. Just something to look out for with his sinker as well that I didn't mention in the beginning. The pinch break on the changeup is very good, as well as the sinker. His four-seam fastball has a lot of movement too. That's why I said it can definitely sail center mass when you're pitching with it. The slider and the curveball at 80 and 70. He does not have the best break on his curveball, but that's okay. That's his 5th pitch. The sinker, though, it will go up to 100 miles an hour. I believe it tops out at 101, if I'm not mistaken, from pitching with him in the showdown. It was hitting 100 at least, maybe 101. As you can see, it only says 95, but with that outlier 2, he's throwing a very, very hard sinker, a little bit deceptive. That's why I think he's a very, very good card. Now, let's look at his attributes. 93 stamina, 79 hits per 9, 79 K per 9, 84 base on balls per 9, 89 home run per 9. 65 pitching clutch, 69 control, 99 velocity, and 98 break. The biggest thing about this Sanchez is his control. He's relatively wild, so you're going to have to try to rein him in. When you're pitching corners, you can't get too frustrated if he throws balls, walks guys, or if you just throw some pitches center mass. You're just going to kind of have to deal with it. I'm going to give this Sanchez 4.5 chewies. And the biggest thing is, I still think that the sinker is meta in this game, at least so far, unless they changed it at all. And because of him being able to throw a sinker that goes 100 to 101, as well as having that changeup that breaks a lot, with his being his best pitch as his primary, and then he does have a four-seam fastball, slider, and curveball on top of the sinker and changeup, I think with just a sinker and changeup alone, he can be very effective. But you throw in those other 4 pitches, he's definitely a 4.5 chewy pitcher. I think he might be the best pitcher out of this 42 series, if you ask me. But we'll have to look at some of the other reviews. But he's getting a 4.5 chewies right now because I do think he's one of the better pitchers. Dominic Smith. The left fielder for the New York Mets can also play first base and right field. He's left-handed batting and left-handed throwing. For his attributes, he has 96 contact versus righty, 85 contact versus lefty, 98 power versus righty, 82 power versus lefty, with 85 vision, 72 discipline, as well as 75 clutch. So he's a pretty decent hitter. I want to look at one of his quirks. He's a special quirk that I want to talk to you guys about. It's called practicing to win the World Series before the season even starts. Crazy quirk. It's one of the best in the game. Definitely something to look at. That quirk doesn't actually exist if you looked on the screen. It's just something, like, I don't know what the Mets were doing in the preseason. I figured I'd bring it up now, josh them a little bit. My wife and her family, they're Mets fans. I don't know what they're doing, practicing for the World Series and then coming out, can't even give Jacob deGrom more than like a run every time he pitches. Looking at this guy's fielding, he has 69 fielding, 55 arm strength, 60 arm accuracy, 73 reaction with 38 speed, 12 stealing, and 34 base running aggressiveness. So he's not a great fielder. He has one of the best left-handed swings, I think, in the game, if you have to ask me. From last year, playing with his finest 2020 card was absolutely nasty at the end of the year. This card is butter smooth with his swing. The 96 contact versus righty with the 98 power versus righty just makes him at least an option off the bench as a pinch hitter. On top of, he does have good numbers against lefties as well. His fielding's a bit of a concern. If I had to play him somewhere, it'd be first base. However, right now, with all the 42 series cards that are out, including the Babe Ruth that came out in the Legends, there's kind of a logjam at first base, in my opinion, of cards that should be there. He can play in the corner outfield, but I think there are better options like the Yordan Alvarez that we'll talk about whenever we get to the AL West. So right now, I guess Dominic Smith, I'm going to give him 4 chewies. I think he's a very good card. I think there's some better cards that are very similar to him that are just better hitters, and that's what's holding the Smith back a little bit. It's just his competition for the positions he plays. 4 chewies is what I'm going to give to Dominic Smith. Hopefully, all that practice of pretending to win the World Series will pay off in real life. I don't think it will, but maybe it will. Andrew McCutchen. The left fielder for the Philadelphia Phillies can also play center field and right field. Obviously, he won the MVP with the Pittsburgh Pirates several years ago in center field, so he can definitely play all over the field. They have him in left field because obviously he's gotten older, 34 years old now. Right-handed batting, right-handed throwing. Looking at his attributes, he has 81 contact versus righty, 93 contact versus lefty, 80 power versus righty, 89 power versus lefty. Definitely can hit lefties very well. He's kind of the opposite of Dominic Smith. They have very, very similar attributes. However, McCutchen hits lefties better. Dominic Smith hits righties better. You could probably platoon them in left field if you wanted. Just something to think about when you get these guys. You could have them kind of switch on and off in left field because they're pretty much the same card, just opposite. He does have 86 vision, 101 discipline, 84 clutch. He's a good card. I mean, I really like Andrew McCutchen's swing. I've liked it ever since he played with the Pirates. It's a swing that I'm used to because I'm a Pirates fan, so obviously I played franchise and stuff with them back in the day whenever McCutchen was still on the team. His fielding is what really hurts his card, though. 62 fielding, 50 arm strength, 75 arm accuracy, 63 reaction with 64 speed, 27 stealing, and 42 base running aggressiveness. So just kind of like that Dominic Smith is he's just not that great of a fielder, and that hurts the card a little bit. 4 chewies for Andrew McCutchen. If he was wearing a Pirates jersey, I'd probably give him 4.5 for some nostalgia. However, being a Philly, he's going to have to go with the 4 chewies. I mean, that's what the fair rating is anyway, and that's what we're going to stick with. Patrick Corbin. So this is a card that I'm going to have a lot of trouble giving a chewy rating to, because he's a very unique type of pitcher. This is Patrick Corbin. He's left-handed throwing, left-handed batting. He throws a slider, sinker, four-seam fastball, changeup, and curveball. However, he's nowhere near a power pitcher. He actually throws very slow. He reminds me a lot of like Alex Wood or Kyle Hendricks. He throws the ball not hard at all, but when you play against him, it kind of comes off his hand pretty hard, especially because the rest of his pitches are so slow. He throws his slider at 79, his sinker at 90, his four-seam fastball at 91, changeup 78, 68, curveball. Looking at the pitch control for them, it's all in the 60s, high 60s, low 60s, except for his changeup is 76. So he doesn't have the best control either. That's something to worry about. If he does hitting some stuff, he's not a power pitcher, so guys will probably be able to time it and get on top of the ball even late. But he does have good pitch break on his four-seam fastball, but the rest of his cards are kind of in the mid-70s for the sinker and changeup. Then his slider's 68, his curveball's 56, but his slider's his main pitch, and the attributes on it just aren't amazing. Looking at his whole attributes, he has 96 stamina, 81 hits per 9, 80 K per 9, 85 base on balls per 9, 85 home run per 9, 77 pitching clutch, 66 control, 67 velocity, 91 break. So even his attribute numbers as a whole aren't amazing. I'm going to give this Patrick Corbin 3.5 Chewies. And my concern is pretty much that he doesn't throw very hard, and he's not the most accurate pitcher. At least with Sixto Sanchez, you're getting a guy that's a power pitcher, so if he misses, at least maybe guys will be like, well, I was planning on this to being in the upper right corner and went down in the middle, so their PCI's not quite on it. If he misses his spots, he's going to get crushed. And he doesn't have great attributes for his primary pitch, which is kind of concerning for me. The Sanchez had huge break on his changeup, even if it wasn't the most accurate. This card's break isn't big. His control's not great. I'm going to give him the 3.5 Chewies. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's going to wrap up the in-depth true review of the National League East Team Affinity 42 Series cards. We went over Swanson, Sanchez, Smith, McCutchen, and Corbin. I think you guys already know from watching the video and what their Chewy ratings were that I think Sanchez is the best out of these cards. Then I'm going to give the nod to McCutchen, then Dominic Smith. However, I do think that Smith and McCutchen are kind of 2A and 2B, with Sanchez obviously being number 1. Then I'm going to give Swanson number 4, Corbin 5th. Now, you could argue that Corbin could be in that 4 spot over Swanson. However, I'm going to go with Corbin 5th because I really do think that slow pitching against most players, he's not going to be too effective. Although it might be nice to have a left-handed starter in your rotation if you don't have one. So maybe the Corbin might be worth picking up just to have a different look for having a lefty if you don't have any. But really, I do think he's the worst card out of these 5. You guys let me know in the comments down below which you think is the best of these National League East 42 Series players. I'd love to hear from you. As always, I appreciate all of your guys' support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with any of your friends that play MLB The Show 21. You guys have a great day and be safe.